So here's what we're gonna do today. First, we got 3 things that we're gonna do all together today, throughout the day. Don't do it all at one same time, but we have to do them all today. So from now till 10:45. I need if I haven't seen your 3 items already for the back to school bash, I need those.
I have a box of condoms, but I used to have them this weekend.
Unneeded information. Okay, I don't want them. You keep one, put one in here. Okay, got it. Keep one, take one. You keep the one that says keep. Okay, I don't need to see them necessarily. I just need to have them. You see, let's see there. Okay. 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 Anybody else? Anybody else? Yep. Got it. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. Keep your one. Drop your other one in there. Okay. Everybody? Done? I got, these are just 4 little things. And they are, the last 3 digits are 053.
053.
Okay, take a pick. Take your pick.
What size is the shirt?
Medium.
Not gonna fit.
Okay. So it's a card wallet, and you can put like your, driver's license, credit cards, and stuff like that in them. 055. Okay. And then 052. Okay.
You guys made these?
Yeah. We made those a semester or so ago.
I'll take a shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, but the shirt don't fit me, so.
And the last one is 058.
Finally, I won something, golly.
That's pretty sick.
Okay. Cool. What's that?
You gotta have it fit in the thing.
So generally, you just put like a rubber band around the top part of it, and it holds everything in it. So, anyways, you can pitch your tickets after that. And there's a trash can over here. I just ordered some really cool things. I ordered some soil calipers and a couple of 1, 2, 3 sets of 1, 2, 3 blocks and some other stuff that will be given away in the future. So, I also have last year's Haas Tooling demo days, or Haas demo days shirts. So if you want those, do that now.
It's a free shirt, man.
I have one of my size, so.
I don't know if they do or not. I'm not sure what they got.
Extra large.
An extra. You got a large?
The extra large.
I just need a regular large.
I need myself 3X. 2X.
Might even be advantageous to just open them up, like take them out in piles.
It's extra large. That's extra large.
This one, man.
2X.
Just taste it, I promise.
What's that? We made them on mini mill. Yeah. Yeah, we made them for something. I don't necessarily remember what it was for, but we made them for a thing that we were doing. And anyways, they were there. Okay, next we're going to talk about lockout tag out. And then other two things that we're going to do is today we're going to go through sharpening drills. Got to know how to manually sharpen drills. Okay, so we'll go out on the machine or we'll go out to the shop and I'll take a couple of you at a time and we'll sharpen drills. When you do this to a drill, so I just grabbed a handful of 1/2-inch drills, and when you blow one out like this, to just put this away back in the box or back in the bucket is like a total douchebag move. I'll bring it around. Yeah, I don't want you to have to get up. This is unusable. What you said was, I care more about what I'm doing, and I'm just going to toss it in there. And it really makes me want to figure out who it was and then just hand it back to you when you're like, hey, I need another 1/2-inch drill. Here you go. So first of all, this is wildly incorrect speeds and feeds, right? Yeah, I mean, it's turned into like a counterbore tool. It's like, it looks like a step drill. It's like a step drill. I mean, this drill is still usable. We'll just grind the end off of it and start over again. But to do this, total douchebag move, right? So just don't do this. So you guys can look at it, move it over to the next table, and just keep passing it around. While we're doing that, I will lay out some drills here. Okay, pick a drill, any drill. Speeds and feeds, so I heard that's why I went slow. Slow is not always preferable though, right?
You have to have some kind of through hole in there at least. You can't just plow right through it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you got your correct speeds and feeds, you can just spin at the appropriate RPM, feed at the appropriate feed rate, and you're good to go. So it's about knowing what your accurate speeds and feeds are as you go through there. You need to know what material you're cutting. You need to know what your drill is made out of. I mean, imagine if that was carbide, then you just broke the carbide in there, and so then you've got potentially a part with the broken end of a carbide drill in there, and it's, I don't want to say it's not uncommon, but it's possible. You can take a $3,000 or $4,000 part, throw a drill in there at the wrong speeds and feeds, blow it out, you could scrap a $3,000 piece of material like that, because it's insanely hard to get a 1/2-inch broken carbide drill out of the middle of a part. So either, I think what we're going to do is we're going to either focus on getting drills sharpened well, or if we can't do that, I'm going to take and I'm going to just blow out a bunch of holes and break the drills off in them, and then we'll learn how to get drills out. So we're going to do one or the other. So preferably.
We should do both so I can learn both.
Oh yeah, you definitely can.
That's what school's for.
Yeah. So, but if you can't cover everything, and also if you learn how to do the one, you don't have to do the other nearly as much. So.
Sounds like a win.
Right, but still, what we end up with is that drill back in the bucket when somebody destroyed it. And so chances are what happens is somebody drills a hole, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I totally destroyed this. And then they come back up and they're like, hey Justin, I need another drill. Or I need a drill. And I'm like, didn't I give you one already? No, you definitely didn't. Now you're a liar. So now you burned the drill up, and now you lied to me about it. When really what you should have said was, hey, I think my speeds and feeds were way off on this because I just annihilated this hole. And since that's what school's for, it's a great opportunity to go, hey, here's how you get it right. And we just get it right and then move on, okay? So hungry. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's part of what we're doing today. Okay. So let's talk lockout, tag out, and then we'll go out and we'll start doing some of these other things. Okay, so you've got 14 questions in this module, and it's all about lockout, tag out. With the lockout, tag out, there is a specific lock that you use. It's not just any lock. A couple of these have just regular locks on them. It's not the appropriate lock for it. So the lockout, tag out lock is a different style of lock. So you want to make sure that you're using it. When you use a hasp and the lockout, tag out, you're going to put it on what brings power to the machine. So we'll go out and we've got that 500. I just took this off that 500. So you put this on where it energizes it, so where it brings power into it. And then you can have, generally it looks like something like this. You've got who's locked it, why it's locked out, and then a lockout. And then you can have up to 5 other people on here. One of the things that happens a lot of times, this is super dangerous to do, is I'll take my lock and attach it to somebody else's lock. Problem in doing that is if you're, let's just say Williams, out there and working on a machine, and I'm working on a machine, and I'm done with my part of it, and his lock is attached to my lock, and I'm like, I'm still bitter about that comment that he made, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull his lock off my lock, and I'm just going to pull it, and then I can turn power back on while you're still in the machine.
So that's what the lockout tag out lock is supposed to look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't, the ones that they have at my work look more like that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they make a couple of different styles, but they look different than what a normal master lock looks like. So I've got some that are blue. They just take a special key. There is a special lockout tag out setup though that you should be using.
Yeah, mine's like that, but then it's like red around the.
Yeah, they make red and blue ones. Typically they're red and
And
blue.
I've also seen green.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, typically I see normally red and blue. So every person who is working on the machine needs to have their own lock, their own tag, and then they need to be in a separate hole. So what happens when you have 7 or 8 people working on the machine? What do you do? Yeah.
Pull on that other hole.
You can bring in another one into it. If you can't fit it into, like the disconnect's too tight, you bring this into, no, actually that won't even work either. You're gonna have to set on another one so that you won't be able to energize the machine while somebody's working on it. So this is one of those things that's really non-negotiable. It's got to be identified. I mean, for you guys, most of what you do here, there's no reason that you should be involved in something like that. But it will not be uncommon, especially if you're working in like a robot cell. So I was over MACH101 a couple days ago, and we did a huge mistake. We locked out the machine, and 3 of us got inside the cell on one of the vertical lathes. And at any point, one person had the key, so they could have essentially unlocked it, energized it, closed the gate, and started the machine back up again. All of us were there working together. It was still a safe situation. But had OSHA walked through, that would have been a huge violation for us. And not only is it a huge violation, I want you to just think about, gosh, this is a huge violation. I want you to think about, this is a really unsafe place to be, a way to act. So make sure that you know what you're doing. Now, when you talk about lockout, and the video is going to explain this in depth. Does anybody know what this is?
I forget what it's called, but I know its purpose.
What's that?
I forget what it's called, but I know its purpose.
So if you have something that has a cord end, put the cord end in it, lock it out. Okay, so this is just machine's disabled because of whatever, and so it's got 2 opportunities to lock on it. Just want to make sure that everybody thinks they're funny in the shop. I mean, it's like nonstop unfunny comedy show. So people will take and put the cord through here, leave the end of it out, and then tag it, lock it, and they think that's hilarious until somebody comes along. Let's just assume that you did that, you think you're super funny, and your kid works in the shop too, comes over, plugs in the thing, and electrocutes themselves. It becomes less funny then, you know, or even just somebody who you work with ends up energizing the machine, the wheel takes off on it, let's just say it's a service grinder, the wheel takes off on it, but it doesn't have any way to limit the RPM and the wheel explodes. I've literally seen a service grinding wheel explode, go through somebody's arm, and the other part of it go out through the ceiling and the roof of the shop and land in the parking lot. Now imagine if you're standing over that. Nobody walks away from that. So same thing with if you're inside of a machine and you get in there and do not lock it out or tag it out, that machine doesn't know or care if you're in there. And it will do its thing. And it will continue to do its thing until it stops and hits something. It will not feel bad, and it will not put any kind of emotions into it. It will continuously crush your dead body over and over and over again. The time that I've worked here in Sedalia, which is about 25, longer than that, 35 years, I've known of 4 deaths in manufacturing just locally. It's a pretty substantial number. 2 of them happened at your place. Yeah.
Didn't a few of them die in the lathe?
I don't know of anybody who did that. Mostly they're press crushes.
Because I had Parker showed us that one kid died on the lathe. His head got caught.
Yes, I've seen that video. That's not a local thing. That's just it's just a gory YouTube video that I'll spare you from watching. But yeah. Yeah, if you want to watch those, you're welcome to. There's several man versus lathe and man versus CNCs out there where people end up dead. We do a class for ConAgra occasionally, and it's because somebody was out in the shop and untrained on one of the CNC lathes, and he had a shaft, and this is why if you're going to use emery paper or sandpaper of any kind, you've got to walk through that with me on how you're going to use that. He had a part spinning on the lathe, took his sandpaper, wrapped it around it, was polishing on it, got too close to it, had long sleeves on, grabbed him, pulled him in, slung him around it. When somebody came up to it, he was all the way up into the chuck, arms wrapped around it, spinning, and what had happened, he didn't have it very tight in the chuck. And so this is the only thing that saved his life, is the part was stopped, and the chuck was still spinning because he didn't have it that tight in there. And he was literally laying wrapped around the bed, kind of spiraled up on it, and somebody came up and he stopped it and got him out of there. Luckily, all he had some face injuries from just coming into the chuck, and then he broke his arm in 3 different spots as it wrapped it around it. Because again, it doesn't care. It's just gonna, it's gonna go. There's several videos. If you want to see some of these videos, at another time, you're welcome to. There's a guy who it's like Russian, I think. This kid is running this lathe. Again, he uses some emery paper. It's insanely dangerous. And I don't know that he has a long sleeve shirt on.
You always want to remember that are not very loose.
Or no long sleeves.
So no long sleeves. Yeah. You really want to have, when you're on the lathe, especially when you're doing something like that, no long sleeves. And so it literally pulls his shirt off of him. He's lucky that it just, anytime you come up to a machine and you're fully clothed and you walk away with not fully clothed, you did not win, right? That thing it'll just eat you up, man, it really will. So, in regards to lockout tag out, if you stick your head into a spot or your body part into a spot, any kind of body part, anything, into a spot that has an opportunity for compression, spinning, movement, electricity, it's a lockout tag out, okay? If you are in a spot like that, and you're like, oh man, I gotta get in here to this machine, the 500 is gonna be the one that's probably most tempting to do it to.
They need some kind of lockout for some of those valves too, because
Oh, they have valve lockouts. Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the Maxion doesn't use them because there was one time I was helping some people in maintenance over our eco system, and one of the guys, like we were already working on it, we closed out all the valves, and then someone in the morning came in, started his shift, he opened a valve, and we ended up getting sprayed in actual acid.
Yeah.
Like, it burned really bad.
So there's two different kinds. Some of the valves will have holes in them, and you can lock them with one of these. Other ones, they have it's like a slide that goes over the handle that clamps down. I can't remember. We don't use anything like that over here. So the only thing that we're gonna have is the things that really pertain to us. So,
I need to get some of those.
yeah, I would. I mean, anytime that there is an opportunity for some type of failure, it will happen. It's not if it will happen, it's when it will happen.
I mean, it was like gallons of freaking acid shooting out, spraying all over.
Super dangerous.
Oh,
It could kill you, turn you into a superhero or villain. I mean,
I was
lots
kinda
of,
working on that.
yeah, lots of things can happen there. So, finally, on our machines, just talking about safety in general, on our machines, we have these safety locks on all the doors on our CNCs. There are a couple of the first generation lathes that we have that you can open the doors while you're running them. Let's just assume that those are not doors that you can open, you know? All the other ones have some type of level of, if you open up the doors, the spindle either stops or it goes down to a lower RPM. On the mills, cold start controls or classic controls, you can typically open them up and the spindle goes down to 750 RPM. On our new spindles, open the doors and the machine stops completely. So if you're running one of our machines and you're leaning against the doors, which you shouldn't be doing anyways, and the machine stops, it's not the machine, it's you. What you've done is you've pulled it away from the stops. If the machine is getting ready to tool change and you're like premature on what you're doing and you open up the doors, it will stop. And oftentimes, like you can stop the machine anywhere. If you're going to stop the machine, please don't stop it in a tool change. That is almost always the worst thing that can ever happen. It's not, I mean, now if it is a dangerous situation, oh my gosh, please do it. You know, never, like if somebody's getting ready to get killed and you're like, oh, Justin said, don't stop it in a tool change. Please stop it in a tool change.
Hold on 1 minute.
Yeah, hey, yes, try not to bleed everywhere. Yeah, so don't ever hesitate to do it there. But if it is possible, let the tool change continue. And also, honestly, reset is your friend as much as e-stop is. Reset will stop all movement without turning servos off. But again, if it is a critical moment, hit anything red on there and it'll stop the machine. So if it is like a dangerous situation, hit the e-stop, hit the reset, throw your body at anything on there to get that thing to stop. So, but if you're on a machine, so like we had a problem with the machine that's connected to the robot over in the corner where the switch had slipped back and actually the bolt vibrated out of it and it slipped back so you could open one of the doors and it wouldn't disengage the safety on it, which the people who were running it thought it was awesome because then you could just take your air gun in there and blow stuff off and not have to worry about turning the machine off. Problem is it's insanely unsafe. So that's one of those things where what I want you to do when you see a situation like that, stop, let me know, let me assess the situation. We'll either stop at that moment or we will, adjust something, fix something, move you to somewhere else, do something like that. So we need to determine what's the best course of action, then we'll move from there, okay? All right, so there's video, 14 questions. Take a look at it, and then you'll go out today, you're gonna all be out in the shop, and then we will tackle sharpening. And I'll take a couple of you guys at a time, 2 or 3, and we'll work on drill sharpening. So you'll need your drill sharpening gauge, and that's really all that you'll need other than the drill. So I'm gonna show you how to sharpen the drill, then I'm gonna flatten the end of the drill out, and you're gonna sharpen it from no drill point, okay? And, okay, any questions?
Did you want us to do the video now or is that just?
I don't care when you do it.
Alright.